Hello, Bama.
Hey, here we go. We're going live with the little kitty cat.
I like just a well-timed appearance every now and then. That is
Yeah.
Bama, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that is Bama, and Lynx is running around somewhere.
Link's fully adjusted.
Fully adjusted. Lynx is bad to the bone, man. That cat will not leave my side. In fact, if I when I go down and I am monkeying with tackle, I had to put another chair in my studio because she has to be next to me at all times. And so she has her own chair. She'll come out, sit on the chair next to me. And whatever I'm doing, she's there. And so it's not so bad. Like when I was putting the skirts on, the stealth football jigs, the GLF stealth football jigs, she'll sit there and she'll watch me, and I got all the skirt material, and she's into the skirt material. But when I tie hair jigs, I got to keep her away because she literally attacks them, and I'm just like, holy smokes, this could be a bad deal.
It always, I'll tell you what, you can never judge a book by its cover because you can never tell who the cat guys are.
No. You can. So Josh and his girlfriend are here. So here's what's going on in my world. So all my kids are coming home now because none of them could get here on the 4th of July.
Okay.
So they're all coming home now. They're going to be here for almost 10 days.
Wait, everyone?
Everyone. Girlfriends.
For 10 days.
Girlfriends, wives,
grandkids,
kids, husbands, grandkids, everybody's.
No way.
Yeah. So okay. So my stress levels are high to begin with. Like I battle it. All right. Like we're not even going to pull punches. Like I battle it. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get everything in order, and, food, et cetera, et cetera. So anyhow, Josh has brought his dog. Him and Lily brought their dog over, which is a badass. It's like part Chinese hunting dog and part some other hunting dog, and it's okay. And it listens to the commands. It is twisted good. Okay, so anyhow, my cats don't do good with this. Okay, they will hide. They'll run in the basement. They'll run anywhere they can and hide and never come out again. And then at night, when Josh goes to sleep, they put the dog in their room, and the cats creep out slowly, and everything starts to get a little bit normal. And then once the morning hits, it's chaotic hell again. So this is going on in my world. Well, what happens is my gutters were leaking so bad when it rained, it was like Niagara Falls coming off my 3-story house.
You probably have a lot of gutter. You probably have a lot of guttering there, Frank.
Dude.
And it's tall. It's ungettable, and you have big, giant, old-growth forest trees that surround the property.
Yeah, so like some of the trees are so wide that if you and I went hand to hand, we couldn't get around the bases of them. Yeah. It's a 3-story house, and I can't get on the 3rd story. The roof is super peaked. I can't get on the 3rd story to clean them. Anyway, the long and short of it is the gutters are they're toasted. So I decided that I was going to get leaf guard and put them on the top gutters where I can't ever reach, because then I can at least prevent, the damage. So anyway, so the guy comes Tuesday. One guy, listen to this. One guy shows up, and I'm like, bro, where's your helper? He goes, oh, he looks around. He goes, I got this one. I go, you're going to do this whole thing by yourself, replace the rotten fascia boards and the whole. And he's like, yeah, I got it, man. I'm like, okay, if you need anything, bang on the door. I said, I'm downstairs making lures. If you need anything, bang on the door loud, because I won't hear you. He's like, yeah, I don't need anything. I go, you sure you don't want me to help you? You know what I mean? He goes, I don't need anything. So, dude, this guy was an absolute machine. Like, I have never seen, he's a young dude. I have never seen a worker, one that had it so figured out, like his methodology.
Methodology.
Thank you. Was so spot on that he literally, I watched this guy, like you could have filmed him and then put it in fast motion, and it would have been an amazing video.
Like one of those dudes who you could see him like looking at the roof and he was calculating exactly what he need and how it would go, and he could visualize it before it happened, and then he just went out and did it.
Yeah, and
a true
craftsman,
an expert of his trade, so to speak.
Yes. So he bangs on. I'm down there and I hear bang, bang, bang on the door. I go, oh, here we go. Here we go. It's going to cost me $1 billion. He found something horrifying. He goes,
family of raccoons.
Yeah, he goes, hey, Frank, come out here for a second. I go, oh boy, here we go, you know. And he goes, and I go, I look and walk outside. He had all the gutters off already, like they're all off.
Do you know this guy's name? Like, what was the name of this business?
Leaf Guard.
No, this is the guy from Leaf Guard.
Yeah, one of the workers that did it all. And at any rate, so listen to this. He goes, your fascia board's A-okay. The gutter was pulled so far away from the roof that there was no damage. Just the gutters are trashed. What do you want to do? I said, well, don't rip the fascia boards off if they're good, because why would I pay that kind of money? You know what I mean? He goes, I'm just checking. He goes, I'm just checking. Next thing I know, I go outside, back of the house, gutters are all up. No, and I mean, this dude was like that. And so I went outside. I went outside and I said, what on earth? I said, what on earth did you do in your past? That doesn't look like the logo, but it could be.
Okay, it's not. I mean, I was going to give it props, but we don't want to give the wrong guttering system props on the show here.
Yeah, let me see if I got it here.
I'm just saying there might be an opportunity down the road, Frank. I don't want to miss this. Don't want to miss this chance here. Well, we have an awesome show today too. After we're done here.
Yeah, after I'm done bloviating.
Twice a year we do a show, and I call it the things I didn't know I needed, but now I can't live without show. And it's when Dan Miguel comes on and gives the newest releases from Great Lakes Finesse.
Leaf filter, maybe.
There's so many of these things.
Yeah, leaf filter, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever. So the long story short, okay. So the guy was amazing. I go outside and I talk to him, and I'm like, "Hey, what did you do? What did you do?" I said, "I've never seen a worker literally come out and just you know, just get it." Yeah. Like, okay, so I'm thinking, you know, he's probably OCD like me, and who knows? He goes, yeah, I went to college and I got into finance and investing. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I got a really good job and worked there for a month or two, and said, I can't be in an office. It's making me mental. I'm out. And he bailed. He bailed, and he.
I like that. I like that guy.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, he saved me money because I didn't have to replace the fascia boards. He saved me money there. Mm-hmm. He could have easily just done it and not said a word and done it, but he didn't.
For next week's show, find out what it was so we can give the the free details. Also, before we get into it, then, so it'll be a circus on the 17th of July. Everyone will be there if they're here for 10 days. Can we have like Josh and the whole like, can we have a family can you set up the thing in the kitchen and maybe do like a cooking or family thing? Maybe I mean, your whole family's been on the show. I don't think Rachel's ever been on the show.
No, she's never been on the show. No, we'll figure something out.
Is that a separation of church and state deal there?
Hey, I gotta have some fun on my own, man. No, it's not. She just, yeah, no, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be
okay. Fun. We could do something. Fun. Also, let's bring Dan in. Dan, thanks for jumping back on BTL again for another round of things I didn't know I needed, but now I can't live without.
Yeah,
of course.
No kidding.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Sorry about the delay, Dano, but
no,
I had to talk about the gutters, man.
Yeah, we got him in right at the They're at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
You probably don't have time for you probably don't have time for anything over the last 3 or 4 years, except, family and Great Lakes Finesse. Because you guys are I don't know how you have time to pump out so many new products.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I'm running on fumes, especially right now, with our short northern season here.
Yeah.
Between product development, filming for next year's products that are going to be released next year. This plus product ICAST. Release, ICAST, triplets. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but there's never a dull moment around here.
Did you sneak in the word triplets?
Yeah, remember he's got.
Come on, we have this conversation every time.
Yeah.
I'm a doublet.
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, like they're like, do you use the FG knot? And I'm like, I don't have time to tie FG knots. Like I've got 3 kids, like they're 4 years old. Like I do not have time to sit there and tie an FG knot.
They're 4?
They're 4, yeah.
I feel like within the next 2 years, I mean, like their minds are still developing at rapid rate. You could teach them if you start now, because the FG requires multiple levels. Right. You could teach all 3 of them to tie singularly the greatest FG knot, and then you could just bring your 6 rods in with tag ends, and it could
go
be
here.
Yeah, I legit think that could be a possibility, Dan.
Yeah, that's a good thought there. I never really thought of that. Training to do my work.
Last week, 4th of July show, we gave away 2 $50 gift cards to lurenet.com, usable on all regularly priced items. Frank, those gift cards have been delivered via email. It is just a code. So in honor of Dan coming on for the new Great Lakes Finesse, can we give away another $50 LureNet gift card?
Oh, let's throw some money at him.
All right, so Dan will go through, and then we'll take a fair number of questions here, and I'm going to star them, and then I'm going to absolve myself from all hate comment and let you pick the question that you like the best for Dan. Here it is. Yeah. So ask Dan a question at the end of the show. Frank will select one question for a $50 lurenet.com gift card.
Okay.
Love it.
Listen, Frank top 10 secret. You know what, Matt? Get off my back.
I missed that. I forgot about that second half and a list of Frank's top 10 secret bass lakes in Ohio.
That's not ever happening. They're not secret. There's no secrets in this state, dude. These lakes are small. They're like little ponds. We fish in ponds in Ohio. Oh, boy.
Get your questions in. All right, Dan. 2025 ICAST coming up, and the name says it all. Great Lakes Finesse. A lot of finesse stuff came out last year. You Dries at the Classic, and then you guys went and one-upped yourself and said,
"Let's make it smaller.
Let's make it smaller and even more finessey."
Well, if anyone's been paying attention, in our first ever video, like our story video, we talk about how we got onto this style of fishing by buying, crappie size and panfish size baits. And the baits that we have in the lineup right now, they're not quite there. These are truly like panfish size baits. And so we just released the micro series as a size that I'm very comfortable with, and we've been fishing for a long time. And I don't believe that it's going to trend that way. I believe that we are going to get to this size more and more as the years continue to go on. Not because I believe that, because I know that because of the success we have fishing these little baits. So if anyone hasn't heard yet, this micro series is on average about 35 to 40% smaller than the original GLF stuff, which already kind of mess with people's heads and how small those baits were. Now, what we did was we picked our most, like, not necessarily our most popular baits, but the ones that we gravitate to the most, because one of our core values is we'll only make products that we will have tied on in the biggest tournament of our life. So that means we got to really believe in it. And these are the products we really gravitate to a lot. And so we started with the drop minnow, the sneaky underspin, the snack craw, and the juvie craw. And we got a micro tube head to pair with that juvie craw. And what people you know, most people would probably look at this stuff, especially online. What I think I'm most excited about ICAST this year, because I always see this reaction. They see it on, like, in the videos or online, they see pictures. They can't truly grasp how small this stuff is until they see it. And then not only are they, you know, amazed at how much smaller it is, they're like, wow, it looks like that stuff looks incredible. And so I'm excited for that.
You know what I find interesting is, in the trends of today, people are starting to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Glide baits are taken on, big jig and minnows are taken on, and you guys have succeeded to show everybody how the finesse can be so successful. And I got to put my hat off to you, because that's a lot of work, a lot of research, and a lot of fishing, and a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think for us, we're super comfortable because, you know, I'll show the drop minnow right now. So this is like our 3.2 inch version, right? Sorry, 3.25 inch version. And this is the new micro version. So it's a lot smaller.
Oh, man.
For a minnow to get to this size, it needs to survive at this size.
That's smart.
Right? And every fish is comfortable eating a bait this small, and even smaller till it gets to this size. But this minnow may never get to a 7-inch size, right? So we feel comfortable that it doesn't matter if it's a, you know, 4-pounder, 2-pounder, or 7-pounder, they're going to eat a bait this big every single day. And that's why this stuff works. And I think the other key point I really want to hit home with people is, even though, you know, you go, this is let me grab this is the 275, and you go to this little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though people would be like, it's already small. Yes, it's small, but the change in size can be such a big impact on your bite. So no different than a change in color. You know, if you've seen it where you're fishing a bait you have confidence in, and you change color, all of a sudden you get bites. No different with a change size that small, mm-hmm. because not only are you going slightly smaller, it changes everything with the bait. The action is different. The fall rate's different. You need to fish it slower, so your retrieve is naturally slower. So there's so much change that happens when you go from that 275 to, you know, this is a 2.25 inch bait. Same thing with the new sneaky underspin. When you go from, you know, an underspin that I'll let you play that video for a show, but yeah. So these are the new micro. That's the new. I mean, these are all the new baits.
Yeah, that's the little.
Yeah, so we just want to show that little micro guy. So that's this little guy here. It pairs perfectly with, and then this is like kind of the normal size, so it's bigger.
So Dan, what this thing is that no one, I'm not up there, and I'm not going up there this year, so I don't care. What I'm not going to see anybody that's going to be like, you idiot.
You let the cat out of the bag, Matt.
And I know you have hair. You have hair on the menu as well, but like, this is replaced the standard black or olive marabou hair jig for the sight casting guys all around the northern lakes, and you know, they still have the marabou, but like, a lot of guys are like hiding this when they get off the water, because they're throwing your exact setup where they're treating it exactly like marabou. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. The drop minnow, we call it the Cindy rig. They're fishing it that way, especially now with these micro underspins. By going to these smaller sizes, we were able to go to even smaller sizes. So like, this is a 330 second ounce underspin. We've got an 1/8 ounce and a 3/16 ounce. So yeah, like same kind of sizes. We also introduced this is our marabou jig. We launched that earlier this fall, and we pair that with a drop minnow. Actually, we released a video. Okay, so I'll talk about that real quick. This is a secret that we kept for a long time when we had the drop minnow, and I never talked about it because we didn't make hair jigs, but we still do fish hair jigs. There's time and place for it. The drop minnow is such an incredible trailer for it because it adds bulk. If anyone goes and watches our YouTube video, we released a whole kind of tips on how to fish these baits, these hair jigs, and sneaky ways that most people don't talk about. The neutral buoyancy of this drop minnow allows you to still get the distance because it's a heavier, dense bait, but because it's neutrally buoyant, it doesn't sink as fast. So you can reel the bait slower than you would with other trailers. And if anyone's really fished hair jigs, they can relate to this. How many times are you reeling your hair jig in and there's a follower and then it turns away at the boat and you feel like, man, if I just had 2 or 3 more seconds in that cast, I could have got that. And this drop minnow buys you those extra few seconds in your retrieve, which doesn't get every follower to bite, but you're going to get more of those fish that are following behind to commit before they're within range of the boat. So you just by nature get more fish to bite by making that these slight little adjustments can be so small and most people overlook them, but they can have such a big impact. So you can see in that part of the video, that's the drop.
YouTube's messing up. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And man, the hair jig was an incredibly challenging project because finding the right marabou and being able to produce it at scale, at the right length, tying it right, getting the right form. So you see that little drop minnow tail.
Yeah, I bet you can bomb that thing on the 7/8 GLF rod and some light, 8-pound braid, 6-pound leader on it. I bet you can get that thing out 40, 50 yards, can't you?
Yeah, like you can cast it a mile. It's funny when I didn't realize how many people were onto the drop minnow as a trailer, but as soon as we released this video, my phone lit up and they're like, why people are like, why would you give that tip up? Like can we keep anything? So yeah, that's kind of it doesn't just add, that action in the puff. It slows the fall rate. So you can just wind it a little bit slower and still get that size.
Plus it helps with the horizontal presentation.
Yeah. It swims really, really good. So then we fish it on the bottom. Like something that a lot of people don't know is we actually fish it on the bottom and put a little trailer on the bottom, like a snack craw or a Ned bug, and fish it like a jig and hop it. So, and then even out in deep water, if people watch the video at the end, I give up a little bit of a secret, but even out in that like 20, 30 feet, we'll throw these hair jigs out and just let them slowly fall. And those fish will come up like halfway up and intercept it. And it's like painful to fish it. But anyways, cool. Like we're always trying to educate people and show them that there's more to fishing than, at the end of the day, like, you'll never get all the information out of the pros because they're trying to compete. So you kind of got to, if you want those little secret nuggets, you got to look at guys who aren't incentivized to keep secrets.
Hey, what makes good marabou, Dan?
It's got to be really fluffy and consistent. So there's a lot of like mangy marabou out there. There's a lot of like more coarse stuff and there's some that are really stemmy. Like if you get bad marabou, like you can buy it online, it's got lots of stems in it and it's really hard to tie. It's terrible. So you need marabou that has a stem, but then enough feather, like fluffy feather on the end that you can cut almost the whole stem right off. You don't want any stem in there. So that was the biggest challenge. We're starting to see a lot of goofiness with hair jigs that are coming to market. And, we felt like we had an opportunity there to bring a hair jig that was the one that we tied anyway. We just tie them on our stealth ball heads and we would tie our own keeper on there. So we would always take our stealth ball heads, Gamakatsu 604. We would tie a wire bait keeper on it first and then tie the marabou on. So we just basically made exactly what we've been throwing for a long time. No gimmicks, just stuff that works.
Yeah, that's sweet, dude.
Yeah. So, but kind of a little off tangent on off topic on the micro stuff, but anyway,
there is no off topic. No. Let's do the I want to see that juvie craw. Do you guys have the juvie craw there? Because I know the original juvie craw was small, but like this is one of those things to me, and I haven't seen this in person, but like when you grab, if you've ever, this is just when I've seen this, you like grab a thing of hydrilla or milfoil or something, and then like in the leaves, there's like, you're like, holy cow, those are crayfish, like those are crawfish, like that's and there's nothing that imitates it. Is that kind of what this size is? Is that what that's going after?
100%, especially like early season, and sometimes you catch fish in tournaments. You look in your live well at the end of the day, and it's just these tiny little craws. So like,
oh my gosh,
look at that.
So this is the original. This one here. Yeah. And then this is the micro, and it from every angle it's smaller. It's not just like lengthwise. It's like, it's hard to show on the camera.
No, you got it.
Like,
oh yeah,
you got
got
it's thinner. It's shorter. It's narrower. Like every part of it is different, and to the point where we had to develop a new micro tube head. So this is our original micro tube head for it.
Oh, yeah, look at that micro tube.
And then we've got, this is the micro. I'm gonna try to put them side by side so you can kind of see how small it is compared to it, and the gap is. Let me try to just show the gap here somehow. But anyway,
and Frank has talked about, when you resize something, you don't just say make it twice as big or make it half as big. Like, there's all sorts of design elements that you have to. Frank's done a whole show on size of baits, on how you know, with the crankbait line. I would assume for jig heads and plastics and all that, it's the same too. You don't just do the Honey I Shrunk the Kids thing. Like, you have to completely kind of redesign and engineer to make sure it does what it's supposed to do.
100%. Yeah, the first Juvie Craw was probably 10 different versions of it to get it right. Yeah, you can't just scale down because there's so many little intricacies that in the bait. So this one was about 4 different versions till we got it right. Even though we already had the exact shape and look we were looking for, it still took that many prototypes to nail it, like the thickness of the body and where we need to add meat. Like, for example, the tentacles, getting those right where they weren't too thick. Like the first couple versions, they were too thick. It looked unnatural. So we had to really just dial things in to make it look right. So yeah, that thing is, it's funny because, you know, you always think you've got secrets, and, you know, we've been using little bitsy, like crappy size tubes for years. You know, people think like, oh, I'm using a 2.5 inch or 2.75 and I'm stealthy. It's like, you're nothing. Like, that's big. Guys are using like 2 inch and smaller, right? And then I was like, okay, like, we're gonna bring this Juvie Craw, and then, you know, Z-Man just launched their 2 inch. Seth Fighter just did their 2 inch too, and so, you know, like, people know, like, the good anglers know about this size, and they're already fishing this stuff, and they're just not telling people about it.
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I get it totally. I mean, how many big bass have we caught crappie fishing with a Bobby Garland baby shad? I mean,
yeah, I've had mid-20s bags. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, I've had mid-20s bags of largemouth crappie fishing.
Oh yeah, dude!
You saw it, Frank. You've been with me.
I was with you. You go, holy crap! That one's 4-pounder. You want to see a 4-pounder? You threw that thing down there, boom, and we chased it all around the lake, and then you got it, and it was what, 4 and change? It was 4. Yeah. I forget what, 4.8 or something like that.
Yeah, it was big fish.
Yeah, and the bait was that big. It's perfect. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. That little baby Juvie Craw, when I was younger, I used to snorkel up at the islands all the time. And the crayfish that we would get to go fish with, now I was probably 15, and the crayfish that we used to get to go fish with were tiny ones. They were tiny. And back in the day, a drop shot wasn't invented yet. So my grandfather took coat hangers, and basically he took a coat hanger and he molded a lead weight on it like this. He molded a lead weight on it like that, okay? And then your line would tie here, and then you'd have your hook line would come out here.
Ah, yeah. And, like the trolling rigs now.
Right. So this part of the sinker, this was brilliant for Lake Erie. Yeah. This part of the sinker, you drop it down until it touches the bottom. Boom. And then you stop it. So you keep the sinker upright like this. This skinny part is bouncing around in the rocks, and you're dragging your crayfish over here, literally, this high off the bottom. And it was a smallmouth wrecking machine, and the crayfish were tiny, and that was the whole key. And we would go out and literally plaster smallmouth all day long on it. It was crazy. That's kind of where I started fishing on Lake Erie with that premise in mind, because back in the old days, it was just live bait, but it was a drop shot rig. It was a modified drop shot rig. And then snorkeling around, the coolest thing was to see the colors of the crayfish underwater, what they actually look like. And then to see the size preference that the bass were choosing was the other thing. A lot of times you think the bigger the crayfish, the bigger the bass, when it's not the case all the time. If the bass are keying in on something smaller. The other day, like literally a few days ago, I was out fishing and I was struggling, struggling. And I was getting really aggravated, and I went up shallow and I had spooked this whole school of bait fish, and they were tiny little bait. I dove in my spinnerbait box and I grabbed out one of my quarter-ounce spinnerbaits where I chopped it way down. I made it tiny. It's a little tiny compact thing. I put that on, and I literally caught 10 in a row on it. Where I wasn't getting bit before. Like I was not getting bit. Like that when I went to the tiny spinnerbait, that's when I started catching them. So that's the importance of understanding the size of the prey that the size of the forage that the bass want to prey on.
100%.
One more product then, and it was mentioned
the little snack craw.
Jamie. No. Oh yeah. Have we not gotten to the snack craw yet?
So yeah, this is we haven't done the snack craw. Okay. So yeah, why don't we talk about that one real quick? So this is a downsized version of the original.
That original is tiny, Dan. Like that is.
I know.
Just put that on your thumbnail, just to show people.
Look at how small, dude. Those are cute, man.
Yeah, they're really cute. It's the cutest bait in the lineup for sure.
It really is. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
How are you fishing that thing?
On a little Ned. So like this is a 1/0. A size 1. Our new Ned
size head. 1, and it's
size 1 hook.
It comes out the nose.
Yeah. So it's a size 1, and we also fish it on like little finesse jigs and stuff. It's a really good
1.7 inches.
Yeah, 1.7 inches. Cool. Yeah, it's really, really good. When you want to really imitate those tiny, there's nothing on the market that can imitate those for when you're fishing for bigger fish, right? Like there's a little tiny craws and stuff, but they're like those little molds and stuff that those companies are using, like it's so basic and there's no effort really. It's like, just make a little craw shape and they come out looking terrible. The plastic is shiny. There's no detail in it. Like these are by far the most detailed little craws in this size that I've ever seen. And fish like on a drop shot and stuff, like people don't realize you can drop shot these things, and they're really good. So snack craw is a favorite bait of mine.
Let me ask you this, Dan. Search baits versus catching baits. Like I'm talking for smallmouth, A-rig, clown colored jerk baits, bright spinner baits, 3/4 ounce chatter baits, big baits that when you're covering water, you're trying to draw an aggressive strike.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking a 1.7 inch micro snack craw on a number 1 1/8 ounce jig head.
Mm-hmm.
The drawing power of that bait has to be 0. This is just me talking. I want you to walk me through my thought process here. My thought process is I have to be so incredibly dialed in to get a bite on this, because there is no way in hell that a smallmouth is going to find an 1.5 inch bait 15 foot down on a rock bottom. That's where I might lose perhaps a little bit of confidence in picking up one of these things without knowing for certain that I am putting that thing within 5 feet of a 6-pound smallmouth. Walk me through that. Am I not giving those fish enough credit when it comes to finding their forage, or is this something that you're using when you are absolutely dialed in and the fish are not responding to your traditional offerings?
Okay, so 2 things. One is we use power fishing techniques a lot, especially when we're locating fish. A bait like this is really good once you know where they are. Like you're in a zone, they're there, and you're trying to you want to catch every last fish in that school. That said, if the conditions are right and the water's clear, don't underestimate these fish. They truly are masters of their environment. And I got a really good story. I'll keep it brief, but we were fishing. We're doing a finesse boot camp video series. We filmed the first episode on Tuesday, and we were after post spawn smallmouth up shallow and how we would approach the shallow water. And anyway, we started out with like, you know, the underspin and the hair jig and stuff, just covering water until we located the school. And then we realized that they were like dialed in on little gobies that were less than 2 inches. Like they were just scattered all over the shallows, and they were spitting them up, and we were throwing the juvie craw and stuff. We were getting bites with the snack craw and the little jig, but as soon as we saw them spitting up the gobies, I switched to the flat cat, and that bait is 2.2 inches, and it was actually a little bit bigger than the gobies. They were crawling all over the flats. Like we could see them in like 5 feet of water, and we put the GoPro down. We got all the footage, so it's gonna be really cool to see that. But what I'm getting at is there was one instance where I casted and I had a fish like kind of like I was pitching at a fish that was maybe 30 feet from the boat, and I pitched in there with that 2.2 inch bait, and a fish out of nowhere, like it had to have been 40 feet away, came flying in from the side and knew that little bait was there and absolutely smoked it. It was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen, where I was just like, man, these fish truly are a master. Like this little bait is barely moving on the bottom, and that fish from 40 feet away knew it was there and just like smoked it. And I saw it like with my own eyes, like it just came in flying. And you know, when the bait hits the water, even though they're small, they can hear that, right? They're tuned to that. Like things hit the water, and they need to be aware of those things to, you know, survive. You know, no different than your house. Like if there's a fly in your house or a spider, I always say like a spider crawling the wall, like especially my wife, like there's no spider that gets unnoticed in my house. That is
a great point. I've got 2 acres, and if there's a moth on anywhere of those 2 acres, Court refuses to leave the house. I'm like, how do you see the moth on the tree 75 yards away?
Yeah, no, I think most anglers think they got to be like super loud and obnoxious to get a bass's attention, but you are probably like way overthinking that. Less is more a lot of times.
Yeah, so like one of our past shows, we did water clarity, and a bass can see 3 times the distance underwater that you can see your bait in. So think about that, and that's 3 times in both directions. Okay, so that could be 6 times as far as you could see. So if you could see your bait, you know, 3 feet down, they're seeing it 9 feet away. So think about some of the clear bodies of water where you could see the bottom in 12 feet, 15 feet. Those bass can see super far. And the unique thing is with live scope, because Dan, you mentioned something really important. They can feel the bait entering the water. With live scope, mine's dialed in, so when I cast out, I can almost see the splash on live scope. Matt taught me that. So I can almost see the splash on live scope, and I can see the fish below already reacting to the splash, and they're 10 feet below the surface. And so you're 100% correct when you say that. They know what's going on in their environment, and we underestimate their skill level. We
on Smith Lake, I watched spotted bass that were cruising 3 foot below the surface stop. Like I was like, okay, to get them to bite, you have to cast like way past them. So I was doing like underhand roll cast, so the bait was only 3-4 foot off the. I watched spotted bass on scope track a minnow through the air.
Oh, that's crazy!
Like to get to it when it landed, because they were like 3 or 4 of them, and they all wanted it. And I mean, I was like, holy cow, those things are seeing this thing flying past them as they're hunting like through the water and going and getting it. The other thing is, I don't know if I would have believed you, Dan, that these fish can find this stuff until I went to Alaska, and I started fishing the Kenai River with glacial runoff and catching all these rainbow trout on an 8mm Carolina rig bead pegged 2 inches above a weight in 2.5 mile an hour current. Literally like no visibility, a bead, no sound, nothing, a bead. And these fish were somehow finding it as this thing went zoom, flying down the Kenai River. That to me was like, okay, they find what they eat and that's how they stay alive. And we're trying to associate size and presence and recognition with like human conscious thoughts and not with what these things are born and bred to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think trout anglers and stuff who creek fish, they really understand this. Fishing tiny little flies and little eggs and, single eggs and stuff. We all, and like you said, current, like it's amazing how fast these fish can react. They have to live. So I saw one question about fishing this stuff out deep. I just want to address that. So we do have other sizes that help people get out deeper, like up to 3/8 ounce in some of these jig heads. So, even our little football head, like even though this one's really small, it does come in like a 3/8 ounce. So you can still fish, and it's got the same hook as like the smallest size. So you'll still be able to get down deep. And then our juvie craw, we have sizes in the regular juvie craw tube head up to a 1/2 ounce of weight. Oh, yeah. And in the micro, we make sizes from 1/8 ounce to 3/4 ounce. And a 3/4 ounce in this micro bait probably falls about the same as a 1/2 ounce in the regular size, just because it's a smaller profile.
You mean 3/8?
3/8 ounce. Sorry, what did I say?
3/4.
Oh no, 3/8. Sorry, not 3/4. 3/4 would blow this bait out. No, I appreciate you. Keeping track of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally, the regular size tube head, the 1/2 ounce is probably my favorite size, because I can scoot it across the bottom deeper and keep it making the bottom contact when I'm scooting. And then the other size I like is 3/8 a lot. When I'm fishing super shallow, the quarter's nice because I can float a bait if I want to. But for the most part, my mainstay is 3/8 and halves. It's dynamite. And you're right about the fall rate on the little craw with the 3/8. It's like fishing a 1/2 ounce jig.
Yeah. So
I mentioned these things do what they're born and bred to do, which is eat. Something that Frank is born and bred to do is organize tackle. And there's a new product in the lineup that just caught his attention, and that's that Great Lakes Finesse wallet.
Before I let Dan take over the magic, I got a little care package from Dano. And there's something in this care package that when I got it, I literally I started shaking because I'm like, this is ruining everything for me. I have to reorganize everything. This is the terminal wallet. I literally, Dan, I must have talked to you 2 minutes after I opened it.
Yeah. I think you're more excited about this than anything I've ever.
I swear. This is my OCD at its finest. This is going to be my demise. This is my basket weaving 101 right here, because I'm trying to figure out how to use 10 of these things to store everything I own. Anyway, I'm going to let you take it over, but this is impressive. And I'm
I'll talk about what I like about it, but why don't you share what you like about it? And then I can get into the weeds on whatever.
Okay, you're definitely getting into the weeds. Okay, the first thing I noticed is the rigidity of this. We're going to call it a bag, but it is not a bag. The rigidity of it, the strength of it, and the quality of it.
Is that Italian leather?
It's Corinthian leather. But here's the thing. I've used bag storage before, and they never last, they never hold up, and they never do what they're supposed to do. So when I got this, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it. When I got this, it was the quality that excited me until I opened it. These divider sleeves in here, they are thick, strong, and rigid. And the zipper, it seals tight as it's like amazing. So I had to talk to Dan because I was losing my mind. Now I know that I can put all my GLF jig heads and tube heads and everything in here. I'm going one step farther because of what I want to do is turn a couple of these into my terminal bass tackle bags where they hold slip sinkers, hooks, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to let you take it over because you have a really unique way to store your stuff in here, and I'm going 100% all in on it.
Yeah. So, this is the terminal wallet. So for me, the problem was, I mean, I'm OCD as well, and I hate wasting terminal, and I hate I haven't found a solution I like. And the one thing that I can't stand is taking terminal out of its original package. I think I lose track of what I've got when it's rumbling around with other like jig heads. If they're like bouncing around, they're losing quality. The hook points are getting worn down. They're just never the same once you've taken them out of the package. So for me, I always wanted to keep the stuff in a package. So we've got 48 different pockets. And it's not just for GLF. I want people to understand that, like, yes, we made it fit GLF, but the GLF bags, these pockets are actually a little bigger than the GLF bags to accommodate pretty much everything. Like I've got Gamakatsu hooks that I use for like drop shot hooks, AWG hooks, my drop shot, like free rig weights, everything can go into these. It doesn't matter what you're using, but I wanted a solution that I could keep track of everything really well, stay organized, stay efficient on the water. And this was what we came up with. We were just like, this is the perfect solution. We went through a few different versions. The first version was smaller and the pockets weren't as wide. And I didn't want to be able to just put one bag of terminal in each one. I wanted to be able to put so for example, this one, if I open it, like this pocket here has like 2 packs of 3/4, those are the 3/8 ounce heads. So you can put like 3 or 4 packs in each single pocket. So when you got 48 slots times 2 or 3 packs, I mean, that's a lot of terminal storage and organization. And it's nice because at the end of the day, even if I pull stuff out and, it falls on the bottom of my boat because I'm using it, I just grab it, I find the open pocket and put it right back in, and then I'm able to stay organized. So I've got about 6 of these on the go. Like I'll have like tube heads and ball heads in one, and I've got one for straight jigs, like not just GLF jigs, but my jigs in general. I fish other jigs. Everything can pretty much fit in here. That comes in like a bag or like a carded. Trying to see if I got anything else here, like anything like with a carded package.
Yes, I'm saying like a Gamakatsu
pack,
sick number 4 drop shot hooks or whatever. Like you can just put that whole thing in there.
Yeah, like for example, like packs like this.
Yep,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
Like that kind of stuff all fits in there so nicely. Like I haven't really found anything that hasn't fit in here. So anyway, I feel like, you zip it up, it keeps everything tight. And not only do we use it for that, like even our SD cards, like we have a couple, like one that's dedicated. You just like I put them in my SD cards. I actually just take empty GLF packs, put them in here, stuff them in there. And so I've got all the stuff safe, waterproof, organized,
like Horizon Head packages, all of that. That was my first. So like, listen, I'm going to be honest here. Like that was an incredibly hard sell where it's like, hey, this is the greatest tackle organization. Go buy it. Like we were on air 8 minutes before the show and no one else was listening. And Frank was going nuts about this thing.
Oh yeah.
And so was I. So like, I have not personally seen it, but like, I think this might actually be the real deal here, Frank.
Well, it is so far. So I got one wallet already for all my jigs and minnows stuff. I got to get a couple more of these because I'm going to have all my GLF heads in another wallet, and then I'm going to have all my bass terminal tackle in another wallet. Because for one thing, this takes up 0 room in your boat. So if you use a 3700 tray. Like I use a 3700 tray to store all my terminal tackle. The problem I'm having is I do keep my hooks in the bags, but I got to roll them up and put them in the slot in my hard box. I got to roll them up and put them in the slot. And then what's happening is that over time, because then I got to unroll them, open them, grab another hook out, they're tearing, and then I have loose hooks in my box. and then all the weights rattle. Everything makes noise. Everything's clinging and clanging against each other. And I'm noticing that some of my hook points are getting rolled. You know, you run down the lake, the thing's vibrating and bouncing around, and they're loose and they're bouncing around, and the hook points are getting rolled, and it's driving me crazy because I do a lot of
jet skis and rolled hook points, Dan. The two things that Frank SCALISH will not accept on the water.
I can't accept that.
those are the two unacceptable. Oh, that and hole poach at a drive by.
Oh, please almighty. Let's not go down this road,
I do not think Blake, he said, are they big enough to fit a spinner baits? No. Like, yes, no, not really.
Probably not
designed for that.
No, I saw that. I actually just quickly double check the measurements. So they're 4¼ inches. Like each pocket is a 4¼ inches like down, and then across is 3.25 inches. So 3
potential that there'll be replacement bags in the future or different sizes.
I'm working on more storage solutions because that's a pet peeve of mine. It's a real problem. Working on other like bait bag solutions. I thought I had one dialed in, and then we always like come up with ideas and we actually test them for a while to make sure they actually solve a problem. I had a bait bag that I thought was like we've nailed it, and then when I actually started using it, I realized it wasn't as efficient and dialed in as I wanted it. It just I didn't quite solve the problem, and we could have brought it to market and people would have loved it, but I was like, let's not do that. Let's just wait. Let's get it right, and then we'll bring one to market. But the terminal wallet, after a year, I was like, this thing's incredible.
Oh, so you've tested that for a year. That's not like something that just came out. Like this has been in the rotation for a while now.
Yeah, like if you go back in the fall, you'll see I was fishing with Travis and like small crush and stuff, and it was probably popped into that video. It's probably laying on deck, and then maybe some of our other videos from last summer. Like we put a season in. That's the thing about all of our stuff. We put usually at the very least, unless it's like a jig head and we know like, okay, that's going to work for sure, and we don't need to put a full season, but every product we put out, it's a minimum of 1 season to make sure that it actually does does what it's supposed to do. It holds up. The rod, same thing. Like that was nearly 2 years of making sure that those rods would do what we wanted, because we didn't want to damage our brand by bringing in a rod that could break after, a bit of wear or laying in the spaking in the sun for a full season. Like we just didn't know what the elements would do going from the spring, hot summer, cold fall. Like what impact would that have? Let's make sure it holds up.
That's true.
Yeah.
I may be talking a little bit out of bounds here, but if I am, just stop me. But this is what I get from having you on, my take from having you on the show, Dan, for the last couple of years. So GLF, small independent tackle company by guys, baits designed to solve a problem, basically making them out of your garages, selling to friends, stuff like that, right? Then Pradco, you buy Pradco, comes along, sees a niche, wants to get it, you sign a deal with them. That's where a lot of, it seems, specialty one-off guys kind of goes awry. They lose a little bit of control over what they're making. Decisions are made as to, hey, I know you want this hook, but these hooks are a lot cheaper, or this way does it. I get the feeling a couple years into this now that what Pradco, LureNet, this whole thing has done has basically allowed you to do what you've always wanted to do without getting in the way, is the best way that I can say it. Is that a fair 100%. Assessment of this relationship?
100%. They put all trust in me, and they said, we do not want to change anything in the process. You just tell us where you need help. And that for me was production, distribution, marketing, really just giving people more access to this stuff. But everything that made Great Lakes Finesse great in the beginning remains true today, if not better, because now not only do we have access to the people that started with us, we have access to even brighter minds and more ideas, a smarter engineering team that bring feedback. It's not just me making any of this stuff now. It's like a full team effort. A really good example of Pradco not getting in the way and focusing on profits is this little adjustment here. So if you look at the sneaky underspin,
Yep.
There's a little
sleeve.
There's a little shrink wrap here.
Yep.
So I will admit that the original design with that wire keeper over time of pulling baits on and off would come loose.
There it is right there.
Most brands would accept that and would move on and say it's good enough. That always bothered me, even though I knew we were still putting out a really great product. It's not something we caught. We used to epoxy that. All of the new underspins in production today are having that shrink wrap added to hold that keeper on. We tested it all last year to make sure that baits would hold, even the softest, little baits, they would still hold just as well. It costs more money to do that. It improves the product, and we're not going to pass any of that cost on to the consumer. It's going to remain the same price. So that's our willingness to go back and fix things that we might notice later. And we're always looking back and going, did we miss something? And if we did, we're going to go back and fix it. Doesn't matter what it costs.
Yeah, that's money, dude. Though that's the one thing, like, because I'm on the inside too with it all. And that's pretty impressive because I know for a fact that Dan has pretty much free autonomy to design and create. It's pretty much wide open, which is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, very cool. All right, we have, let's see if this is a question. Okay, we've got 20 starred questions from throughout it. Now, some of them are a replay. So, Frank, pay attention to these because I'm sure you're going to be answered some, but you're also going to be selecting the winner for a $50 LureNet gift card at the end of the show, where you'll just send an email in. We'll send you a code for it. Big shout out to LureNet and the folks at Pradco for being like, hey, let's get back to the BTL listeners for coming up with these codes, something cool that we're doing throughout the 2025 season. We will rapid fire these, Dan. I mean, you can go into it as much as you want, but I know you probably got a lot of stuff to get ready for ICAST and things like that. So we'll just start at the top and work our way down. As to what is the most overlooked finesse bait no one uses? That's a great question. The flat cat. Okay.
The flat cat. The best anglers that use our stuff consider the flat cat to be the most effective. It's a sneaky bait that flies under the radar. And we're going to start putting a bit more content out there to kind of show that off. And people are going to be mad that no, but yeah, that's one bait where, like, if we ever got rid of it, I'd have to sleep with one eye open because there's anglers that would kill me.
This thing.
Yes.
It's like a oval with a tail.
Yeah. It's so, and most people would just walk right past that in a fishing department.
Yeah.
But that thing is a fish destroyer. Yeah, like insane.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, they'll walk past that, but they can't walk past the dice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I do want to just hit this one up. Best bait for walleye, the sneaky underspin is unbelievable.
Without a doubt.
Is unbelievable. It's my go-to walleye bait. Okay, that's it.
I'm gonna second that.
There's a couple of these questions here, so I'll put you because there's a couple of these questions. So Blake wanted to know, you've gone smaller and then you've gone even smaller. Any plans on going bigger next?
Yeah, I mean, there's always we've got our eyes on it, but it's got to make sense. We're not going to chase trends.
Mm-hmm. You talked about how, but when are you going to deploy the snack craw? Like, when are you going to get to the water and say this is a snack craw day?
When they're turned off or it's cold water. Cold water it's incredible. Cold water craw.
Okay. Are you keeping notes of this, Frank?
I'm trying.
That's fine. Just one of these is going to pick your fancy, and you just make a note of it at the end. Then no one knows, and it's just massive suspense. Any plans for hard baits from Hoffa 31?
Never know with us.
Are hard baits a totally different animal than soft baits and jig heads and underspins and stuff like that? Like, is that just a completely different ball game?
It's 100% completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's Blake. You ask about that, about the Nick wants to know about little glide baits. This is a good question from Annie. You kind of answered it before. When I think of micro baits, I'm thinking 20 feet tops of water, are you seeing success offshore in, say, that 30 plus range with the little stuff?
Absolutely. Two reasons. They just don't see little stuff. Everyone thinks when they're deep, they need to go big. But when you think about the length of a bass boat, like it's not that long, and that's a 20-foot bass boat, right? So we're not talking about much distance there. Even a 20-foot cast, when you see a fish at 20 feet on scope, most people cast like 40 or 50 feet. They don't really think about how close that is. So yeah, micro stuff absolutely plays in deep water up to 50 feet. And something that we've really got onto lately is fishing these baits and making them sink really slow. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
Mic drop.
Jamie Juice Newton, interesting question here. He said, how do you get over being uncomfortable? I think we kind of talk about this every time you're on, Dan, being uncomfortable with throwing the smaller pound test. I can't get below that 10-pound test, the anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to equipment. Light line, you'll feel absolutely comfortable with a quality, longer, medium, light rod, medium to medium, like medium, light to medium. And then the key is probably more important, your spinning reel. It's got to be a higher end spinning reel with a good quality drag. So something in that, like, Daiwa ballistic range, Stratic range of a Shimano. I'm not recommending either of those. I'm just saying, like, that's probably the level you want to get to, just because the quality of the drag gets to the point where it can handle the light line.
Go out there when they're biting and break a few off on 5, 6, and 8-pound tests. Yeah. See what you can actually do with it. Go bust some fish off and be like, okay, I'm going to try to winch this fish up on 6 and see what happens. And I think as long as your terminal tackle and your equipment is set up right, you'll be shocked at the amount of pressure you can put on a fish with 5, 6, 7-pound test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, putting it in perspective, there was a time when I would go after giant carp all the time.
Wait.
No, this is a
carp. We went through a carp phase, Frank. Is that's like like a kid going through an emo phase or the Jinko jeans phase?
Yeah, this was a carp phase that I had, and I'm not talking about 8 and 9 pound carp. I'm talking about 20 pounders, 25, 30 pounders, and I would use 8-pound test line for them, and you would be, and I know 8's not 6 and 8's not 4, but a 4-pound bass is also not a 25-pound carp.
Mm-hmm.
So you would be amazed at the amount of pressure that you could keep on a fish with light line with the right equipment, because we would land these things and they would start at your waist and their tail would be on the deck of your boat, standing up, holding them. You know what I mean? So it just takes a minute to get used to it. But once you actually get the feel for what each line diameter can do for you, you be surprised how little trouble you have with it. Most of your break-offs, guys, most of your break-offs, and we did a show on this, most of the time when you're breaking off on your line, it's because of the hook eye. So what happens is where your line gets caught where the hook eye meets the hook shank, your knot gets caught in there, and that's what causes it to break. It's not because it's not because of mishandling. It's just the line, your knot rotates, it gets in that groove, and it's like a cutter, and it's going to break no matter what. Anyway, go ahead. I apologize.
It's your show. You don't have to apologize for doing a diagram on your own show. Anything else to add to that, Dan, before we move on?
Just to add to that, a little sneaky tip that I use is if I'm using light line, I'll actually tie a knot on the head, cut it, and then slide it down over that little gap, and then retie my line to it. And that provides a buffer against that little. So if you're down to like 3 or 4 pound tests, people always are mind blown. They're like 3-pound tests, and like that's just a sneaky little way. And that's why we also have the drop shot, quick shot clip. It allows you to have a drop shot weight flinging around, because that knot is just so much better against the clip than against the drop shot weight that's generally thicker, or you've got those pinching style drop shot weights. So that's the whole reason why that product exists. So there's, you know what, people, if they've never tried it, just go out, break a bunch of fish off and figure out where that break off point is, and then just back off from there. And that's how far you can take it.
Yeah. Chuck Fish what color drop minnow hair jig combo would you recommend during the mayfly hatch?
I mean, I'm generally throwing the black or brown with like maybe the green pumpkin, like this green pumpkin color. Those are probably my two main colors, or the olive. You can try those three. Depends on. Normally, just go fish black. You'll have a lot of success.
Blake, Anthony, couple questions about scent on the GLF plastic line.
Yeah, no scent. The plastics can take scent. The biggest reason is I wasn't the only one who started this brand, and none of us could agree on scent because we all have different scents.
Yeah.
Procure, Bang, whatever. And I just don't want to be pigeonholed to a shrimp or a whatever, Procure, Bang, or whatever.
So, right.
Yeah. I want to be able to apply scent when I want to and what scent I want.
That is, I would say, wildly across the board. Like you fish with Travis, and he's got that Procure smallmouth magic stuff that he won't touch it unless it's been in there. It takes 5 minutes to put a bait on because they're going doo shooting through your fingers. And you've got the Taku powder. You got the guy. What it is?
Yeah.
You ever tried to put a plastic on after Travis's smallmouth magic scent's been in there? It's impossible.
It's like handling a wet
fuel.
bar.
You got some of the guys who swear by the bait fuel. So, but you said they will take scent though.
Oh, 100%. You can marinate them for as long as you want. Like he marinates these in his Procure smallmouth formula. Yeah.
The Chuck Fish with another great question. What bird do marabou feathers come from?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just know I need marabou, and I don't really get into the weeds of the science. That's probably more Frank's department. He's all about this stuff.
Almost all birds have some form of marabou on their feathers. There's parts of it that help keep them warm.
So it's like an under deal. So it could be multiple different types of birds.
Right, but
it's not like the marabou bird of South America that
right
flies around in the treetops.
Right. but certain birds have good marabou plumes to them, and that's what you're using. You're using the whole marabou plume. You
were saying your favorite is spotted owl.
Well,
or was that off air that you're telling me about that?
Spotted owl and eaglet.
Yeah. And California condor.
Yeah, California condor is the best if you could get it.
This is a interesting question. Anthony 777. How do you keep the perch and the rock bass and all the other small things that can now, this will sound weird, get their mouth around it, like off of? That's a valid question. Like you fish Oneida and it's like rock bass, walleye, rock bass, smallmouth.
Yeah, it's part of it. Get around fishing. I mean, they're all going to eat this stuff, right? You're going to catch the stuff's like, I call it the lake, like this sneaky underspin's a lake vacuum because it catches everything. But I know that if I get in front of a bass or walleye or whatever,
it's also going to eat it.
Yeah.
Blake with another good question about dirtier water. Will you fish this stuff in off-color stained water, especially the micro stuff, or are we talking Great Lakes clear water, visible sight feeding fish?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So like, for example, like our little swim bait, the drop kick shad, I find that like the moving baits in the dirtier water just don't have the same level of success once you lose clarity. But the bottom contact baits are still extremely effective in the dirty water. So even with next to no visibility, like the little juvie cross scooting along the bottom over hard bottom, like it still kicks up enough dirt, and like it's a very natural, and they can easily pick that up. So yeah, the bottom contact baits are still a big player in low visibility water.
All right. Yeah, and then that's a lot of Jeff with a question about the bigger baits. Chris Flay, you guys have done like a lot of really good. You've done some Bassmaster Classic stuff. You do some ICAST stuff. ICAST more for you as a chance to meet with buyers, with people that are going to put the stuff in their stores or online on their stores for you to educate. More so on that, some of the behind the scenes guys more so than, you're not really connecting with viewers and listeners there since it's not open to the public.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite show is the Classic by far, because it's still that same level of brands really bring it, but you can interact with the people who actually like your stuff.
So, all right, those were the 20 questions I had. I know there's a couple more, but we're past an hour here, and Frank, I know, has been writing some things down here. Look at that. He's got it all. So those are the questions that we had. Now there's some that are replay here. I know Frank hates this part, but I hate it more, which is why I put it on him. Plus it's day 4 with Frank Scalish. So
before you pick,
Yep.
I saw one question about the flat cat. Do I fish on a drop shot or on the bottom? That's a really great question, and I want to clear the air on that one. So we just filmed with that, and these are the baits that we were using that day. They got all beat up. So we were fishing them on the net head and the ball head. On the bottom, scooting around like a little goby. So just hop it along the bottom like a little goby, and it imitates them perfectly. So that's it. Just want to talk about that.
So like that's a bait that I'm probably not going to be throwing in Oklahoma for largemouth. I mean, I know you might catch some spotted bass on it and stuff, but like there's certain things that translate. Like I was saying before we went live on the show, like that's the one bait that I've got some packs of it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with that in Oklahoma. And that's kind of like that might be one that's more situationally exclusive to those smaller gobies and that really clear water, to where it really dials it in and gets a lot of bites up there. Maybe not something I want to be throwing in my Wednesday nighter on Lake Thunderbird.
Yeah, it was inspired by a baby catfish, because we got onto a baby catfish bite at one point. We realized that time of the year when those tournaments are happening, there's a lot of baby catfish. So we designed it to be a mimic that, or like a little goby or like a little leech. And so it's such a dumb looking bait, and we know that it's not going to just like jump out to people in the stores, but the anglers who really understand bait and fishing, like they're like, this thing's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, when we were younger, we'd wade the rivers here, and there are these little catfish. They're called mad toms, and they're little tiny cats, and they're everywhere in those rivers. And then we used to catch them with a net and use them for bait. And man alive, I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
A lot of people are saying a lot of the marabou comes from storks.
Ostriches, storks. Yeah, ostrich plumes. Huh. It's pretty cool, man. But who's
winning the $50 gift card, Frank?
Okay, so I'm going to go with a question that I would have
so much anxiety.
Yeah, I know. I'm going with a question that I would have asked, and that is, how can you fish this small stuff in dirty water? That's a question that I would have asked. That's something that I also think about. And I'm also giving him, whoever it was, I don't have his name, so you got to keep that, Matt. It was the last question, I believe, of the day, except for the flat cat question. It was right before that. Blake Dillard. It was the very last question you read. Is that it? Yeah, because Dan said he wanted to use a bait that still made bottom contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, there was one more question. What are your thoughts on the sinking braid? I'm curious in that too.
I hate knocking on other brands.
That's fine. It's just in general. You don't have to say any brands, but I
bought into the hype, and I've ripped it off all my reels this year. I used it last year. I did not like it. That's just my preference.
Well, I mean, here's the difference of that is I could see how that would drastically impact the action of the baits that you're fishing it on, with the drag and getting the line down there and the movement when you're used to the floating with it going down. Like me, I love it when I'm trying to get a minnow 30 foot deep in windy conditions. Like it works for me but I'm also throwing a 6-inch minnow on a 1/4 ounce jig head. 80 feet out in front of the boat. So, but I was curious on your thoughts on that, because I would thought, when you get it down there, it does feel a little heavier because you have a lot more drag with it, which I would imagine on a 32nd ounce bait or a 1.7-inch bait really impacts your feel for it.
Yeah, for the lighter lines, I just felt like the durability. I couldn't depend on it for durability. It was my biggest concern, more so than the feel. The feel was fine. I just didn't feel comfortable setting the hook anymore with it. That was for me in the lighter diameters. I'm not going to say which brand because I don't want to knock anyone. And that was a personal thing, and maybe it was a couple bad spools or whatever, but I don't want to. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
I would like to introduce both of you. I think we end the show with this. Listener did it to the Marabou Stork. I'm not kidding. That's the Marabou Stork,
That's
gentlemen.
The guy. All right, sweet.
What a handsome man. What a handsome little guy that is.
Yeah, what a guy. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff going on with that bird right there. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it alone.
Who was that? Oh, that was Blake Dillard. Email Matt, MATT at basszone.com with your email address and your name. I will forward it to Frank, who will then send you the code. $50. And all of that stuff is on lurenet.com that we talked about today, correct, Dan?
Yeah, it's all there. And we just got a big shipment, I think, yesterday too, of stuff that sold out pretty quick. So there's like a bunch of restock on the micro underspins and some of the snack craws or the juvie craws and stuff. So yeah,
and
good
then
time.
If you want to watch a lot more videos, get more in-depth information on it, a lot of the stuff is on the lurenet.com. Great Lakes Finesse .com also has a little bit more in-depth, kind of behind the scenes pictures that you can really dial it in. And then the Great Lakes Finesse YouTube channel, you and the team have put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
Actually, I showed some of that during this, but you get the stuff, you watch it. It's, I think, one of the most important things, Frank, you've talked about this, is understanding what your bait is doing under the water. You guys have done a great job on that YouTube channel. When you put that juvie craw on, when you put the drop minnow, when you put the sneaky underspin, you know what that bait is doing when you move your rod. So definitely go check out the Great Lakes Finesse YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys do a really good job explaining how to fish those baits in those videos. And showing what they actually look like for real. I mean, it's a good job.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's part of educating people on this style of fishing. You can't bring out baits like this and not tell people how to have success.
Right,
with them.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Have fun at ICAST. Don't lose your voice. Wash your hands.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the
worst.
That was the worst. Oh man, people probably thought I just got plastered and lost my voice, but that honestly was not the case.
No,
so,
I mean, ICAST is interesting because there'll be like the dynamics of, you'll have like a media guy that comes up and wants to just do a video with it. Then you'll have an independent tackle buyer that comes up. Then you'll have like meetings that are already planned with like big box retailers where like the top guys at Pradco will be like, Dan, okay, 1:00 we have X store coming in. You go in this like weird little meeting room with the walls and you sit down, and then the dude, your boss turns to you and says, all right, tell them why they need, what all this stuff is in the store. And you're answering questions from the buyer. And then at the end, they either go, you know what, I don't think it really fits our market. Or they go, I want 5 SKUs of everything in every color. And that's kind of what goes down at ICAST. So it's like a mixture of like glad handing, education, media, and then like moments of like high intense like meeting sales. Did I nail that pretty good there?
Man, it's like you've worked it several times. Exactly
from several different angles.
Yeah, that's it. You nailed it.
Yeah, and you can always tell who's new there because they walk in and they have either dress shoes or boots on. And the ICAST veterans know that a clean pair of New Balances or comfortable walking shoes is the way to go. And the only way you'll get judged is if you walk in Italian leathers.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You nailed it. And I was that guy on the first ICAST I did for my whole company. So I learned that pretty quick. Yeah.
All right, we're going to let you go, Dan, and then we'll wrap up the show. Thank you, dude. Have fun in Orlando.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate the time.
Good luck, Sano.
See ya.
There you go. That is a amazing success story there. I always
Oh yeah, and very impressive. Very impressive product line. It's very impressive. But this thing right here.
Yeah, no, that's the deal. I want to go back to this. So is this, do you think, on the Marabou stork?
That's what I would use. The top hairs on his head.
I'll tell you what, that kind of looks like a East Texas fishing guide in his 70s, doesn't it? Right? Just a guy who has seen some stuff on Toledo Bend.
He's just or
you know, maybe that one dude on Gunnersville who still tells the story about how he remembers when the lake was filled.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that dude has never seen a bottle of sunscreen.
No, hell no.
And
oh my god,
and still is pissed at GPS navigation.
Yeah, he's mad at motors.
But I'm assuming that this stuff right here,
those are the Marabous.
Yeah. Whoa, we just got flagged. I'm assuming that this stuff right here is where the Marabou comes from.
Yeah, but there's Marabou on other birds too, and what Dan was talking about is very true about
a lot of Marabou around that region.
Around that
that region right there. Oh, we had such a good show, and Pradko's like, oh, this has just gone completely off the rails.
They won't even get that far. Oh my god.
Joey back, and she said you'd be pissed too if someone was plucking your feathers all the time. He doesn't look happy.
He's it's an ugly ass bird. I'm sorry.
It is. That is the Marabou stork.
Yeah, but there's so many things when you're using real fur or real feathers.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for getting that back on track.
Yeah, I am. In the fly tying world, there's really a lot to it. It's if you go out and you buy feathers in bulk or you buy fur in bulk, you're not getting the premier quality material. You're getting a lot of stuff that really good tires would not tie with. And so Dan to get the proper Marabou for the jigs was like pulling teeth, because some Marabou's nice and long, and so you use the very ends of it and you have no stalk in it. You have no feather stalk in it.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, I'm just glad I didn't have to be the one.
The other thing that you have taught me, and guys who make baits and stuff like Cliff Pays has talked about this before over at Black Label, is the smaller you go, the tighter your tolerances have to be. Like the less room for error, the more perfect it has to be, because micro anomalies throw everything off. So, the like a Rogue or a Wigglewort is a perfect example. Those old school baits, and actually what made them good was they weren't like, they didn't have to be perfect because you had some bulk behind it. You were able to tune it. You start getting down into that 1.5 inch, 2 inch, regardless of whether it's a plastic, regardless of a jig head or whatever. Like it has to be straight and dead on and perfect, because abnormalities are exaggerated as you reduce size.
Yeah, 100%. And it affects everything about the bait. Mm-hmm. The way it falls, the way it moves, everything it does. Like I paint a lot of baits, and the hardest baits in the world to paint are the small ones. If you want to put in extreme detail, is the small ones. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the easiest baits I ever painted. I painted a big glide bait. You have room on the canvas to do very unique and intricate things, where you don't, as the baits decrease in size, you don't. And so everything on the smaller baits has to be 100% spot perfect, or it won't look right. For painting purposes, for design purposes and functionality, if you use, too heavy of a hook, it changes everything. If you use like Dan was saying with the juvie craw, the pinchers were a little bit too thick and it wasn't working right. Everything matters when you shrink it down. Everything matters.
A little bit on the taxonomy on the marabou stork. It's called a Cosiona and coined the binomial name Cosiona crummenfera.
Which in translation means
specified that locally as Senegal, the species epithet epithet means carrying a purse around the neck.
That's what they call that.
Mm-hmm. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's 5 foot tall and weighs 20 pounds with a 12-foot wingspan.
Dang. That's like a small airplane.
It's massive. I had no idea it was massive, and it is an African bird.
It's a gigantic animal.
It's huge. You got any other Yeah, next week is going to be interesting. So ICAST is going on. I'm in town. We'll have a show on the 17th, right? Unless you need a week off to hang out with the family. But I mean, if Josh is around, if any of your kids are around, your wife, anybody, the cats, the dog and cat, whatever you want to come up with next week, Frank.
Dude, if I put them all on, the little square boxes here are going to look like the beginning of the Brady Bunch.
Oh my gosh. You should have them all on from different rooms of the house.
That's exactly what we would have to do. It'd be like the Brady Bunch. Here's a story.
See, you do sing. I knew you sang.
Oh God, my world has been upside down lately, guys. That's all I'm telling you.
But you got good gutters.
I got good gutters, and after
your GLF stuff is organized.
Well, dude, I'm using this for a lot of different things, and I am. Uh-oh. Are you there? Did I hit a button? Okay,
no,
I hit a button and my screen went bad. So no, after this show I am going to have to replace all the plumbing from my kitchen sink to the stack in the basement.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm like done. I'm done.
Oh no.
You see these bags under here? That ain't because I'm getting rest. People.
Wait, so there's that doesn't sound like a project that takes one day.
It's gonna be one day project. Thank God it's PVC, so I'm cutting it off and starting over. I got to do it before everyone's piling in the next 2 days, and I got to get it done because I have no kitchen sink.
I picture you working on home improvement projects like the Christmas Story, where the guy's changing the spare tire, and is it Ralphie that goes out and here's what and then like after the Bumpus's dogs eat the turkey, like that's just not in a bad way. That's just how I picture you working on home improvement projects, just down under the sink working on pipe. Just
I'm really good about it until nothing works. My house is so old. In the process of replacing everything all the time. What turns in what a job that should take 20 minutes takes 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I start losing my crap, because it's like everything's fused together. You can't get anything off. Like I redid the kids' bathroom. I redid the floor, the sink, and everything a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And to replace all the faucets, theoretically it should just unscrew and go together. Everything was decades of corrosion and fusion. Couldn't get none of it off. I got so pissed I went downstairs and got my grinder and just cut it all off.
There you go.
So yeah.
I sent you last week's winner, Jacob Collins, his info. So you did email him that code, because he said, Matt, did you get my info?
Wait a second. Yeah, I emailed him the code.
Check your spam, your inbox, or your junk mail. We'll talk about it after the show. That's great. Dan Miguel.
What's Give me the. Yeah,
I'll do it after the show.
I have it downstairs. I'll run downstairs after the show. And
that was awesome. Great Lakes Finesse, available, lurenet.com. Same time, same place. Next Thursday, we'll do it again. See ya. I mean to stress you out on that, Frank.
Oh, no, I just got a letter.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, I'm going to end the show now.
Jesus Christ. They hit a gas line across the street.
Oh, we're still live.
Yeah, they hit a gas line across the street
now we gotta
from my house.
This.
And the whole street's blocked off.
And your whole family's coming into town?
Well, they can't get down the street. The whole street's closed.
How long is this going to take? Still live?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go outside and play with matches.
So you have a... All right, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So wait, you have your whole family coming in. They hit a gas line and the street shut down, and you're replumbing your kitchen.
Yeah. All I want to do is go fishing.
All right, we'll talk to everyone next week. See ya.
And the show is over.